Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for clicking on another video of mine. I appreciate and love all of the support. Thank you so much. If you are new here, hi there, welcome. My name is Rosie. I love doing natural hair videos. My returning queens, thank you so much for joining me once again. Now in today's video, I have been getting a lot of questions on my Instagram page regarding my transitioning journey. For those of you who have been following me for a while, I started to transition, or started my journey back in 2017. So I transitioned for a full year, did the big chop the following year, and as you can see, I have been blossoming ever since. So I do get a lot of questions about my journey. What are some do's? What are some don'ts when it comes to transitioning? So I do have quite a few videos about my transitioning journey. I'll make sure to link those videos down below. But I wanted to go ahead and just make a video just highlighting some do's and don'ts that were really helpful in my natural hair journey. I know a lot of you guys are currently transitioning, so I just kind of want to make sure that I am giving you that guidance, and more importantly, you are feeling supported. So that is what we'll be talking about today. But of course, before we get started, before I start dropping gems, make sure that you are subscribed to my channel. Click that notification down below, hit that bell, make sure that you are subscribed. That way you're always alerted when I post a new video. All right, let's get started. All right, now that you have decided that you are going to transition to natural, one of the first step, and this is a do for me, before you start buying products, start deciding what your curl pattern is gonna look like, all of that stuff, the first step, this is a very important step, is to create a hair regimen. I think me personally creating this right at the beginning of my journey helped me out so much, because it helped me stay structured, and it also helped me have an understanding of how I should be taking care of my hair. Because one thing that you want to keep in mind is that your hair regimen is not going to look the same when you were straightening your hair. I know for me, I barely even had a hair regimen when I was straightening my hair. My hair regimen was just going to the salon once a week, seeing my lady, who I love so much till this day, and just letting her do what she does with my hair until I would see her the next day. So I didn't really have a healthy hair regimen, especially, as well, I was using the flat iron like there was no tomorrow, but we'll get into that here in a little bit. So yes, want to start off creating a healthy hair regimen. And what that regimen should look like, you should be pre-pooing, you should be shampooing, conditioning, deep conditioning, cannot skip that, and then styling as usual. Now I do have another video just going into more details in regards to those steps. I would also include for you to do hot oil treatments, add that as part of your hair regimen, but I do have a video just going more into details on that. Again, I'll link that down below so you can go ahead and watch it. But create a hair regimen, write it down, outline it, stick it in the fridge, stick it in the bathroom, stick it somewhere where you're going to see it. That way on your wash day, you know exactly what steps you need to take with your hair. And of course, if you stay consistent and you stay disciplined, you'll start seeing your hard work pay off. All right, next tip, and this is a don't for me, stay away from heat. Don't straighten your hair. Let it go. Have your private closure with it. Have your moment. Say goodbye to it. I'm a Cancer, so I always need closure. But seriously, stay away from heat completely. Do not straighten your hair when you are transitioning. That has been key for me in my natural hair journey. One thing you have to keep in mind is, if you're really committed and if you're really serious about this, you are going to part ways with it. I know it's been a crutch. I know it was a crutch for me, but your time to straighten your hair again, if you decide to do so once you're fully natural, that's your decision. I've seen so many beauties do it, and our hair is so versatile and we can do so much with it. So that if that's something that you want to explore with, once you're done transitioning, once you've gotten your routine down, once you have an understanding of your hair, of course you can go ahead and do that. But while you're transitioning, I highly, highly recommend that you just stay away from heat. One thing that you have to keep in mind, your hair is very, very fragile when you are transitioning. You're dealing with two different textures. Your hair is not going to be able to withstand you applying that heat. You know, you're gonna deal with breakage. It's just gonna be very problematic. I know for me, I've been natural for 4 years and I have not once straightened my hair, no desire to do it. I already know what I look like with I already know what I look like with straight hair. I personally feel it makes me look way older than what I want it to. So I stay away from it completely, but I highly encourage you to stay away from the heat. Put the flat iron away. Don't even put it away. Throw it. Throw it away. And just have an understanding that, you know, heat right now is not something that your hair really needs. You really need to make sure that you are caring for your hair. So if you want to have a successful journey, you don't want to have any setbacks, highly recommend for you to stay away from heat. Next tip, and this is a do for me, you want to make sure that you are deep conditioning regularly. You should be ideally you should be deep conditioning once a week. I know that sometimes our schedule doesn't allow us to wash our hair every single week. Sometimes, you know, we extend it a couple of days, but try your best, especially if you're transitioning, you're dealing with the two texture, try your very best to make sure that you are deep conditioning once a week. Deep conditioning offers so many incredible benefits for our hair. It's gonna help your hair get stronger. You know, that new growth coming in, you wanna make sure that you're attending to it, you're nurturing it, you're giving it the love that it needs, and you're gonna be able to do that by deep conditioning. So make sure you are deep conditioning every week. I have tons of reels on my Instagram page just highlighting the benefits of deep conditioning, and I love sharing with you guys here as well on Instagram, you know, what are some of my favorite deep conditioners and why I'm choosing that deep conditioner. So want to make sure that you are incorporating that into your hair regimen. That is definitely one step that I tell everybody that you should not be skipping. So make sure you are deep conditioning every week to just continue to promote healthy growth, healthy strands, healthy scalp, and make sure that you're incorporating that, because to be honest with you, that's really how you're going to get where you want to get with your hair. You know, when you're deep conditioning, you're adding that moisture back into your hair, you're feeding it what it needs so it can continue to thrive. So deep conditioning on every wash day, that is a must. A don't for me would be do not, I repeat, do not rush your detangling process on wash day. Oh, so important for you not to rush that step. I know that, you know, when we first start this journey and we're doing our wash day routine, I know for me, I was like, wow, this is really taking a really long time. I'm not used to this. But regardless if you're used to it or not, you should not rush your detangling process. Keep in mind that when you are transitioning, sis, you're dealing with that two texture. Your hair is very, very fragile. I would say the best approach when it comes to detangling when you are transitioning, you wanna finger detangle. That's the best approach I can tell you. I know that it's more time consuming. I know for me, I used to work in very small sections, but I was very critical about, you know, making sure that I was not getting breakage and that I was being gentle with my hair. So I would say on wash day, section your hair the best way you can. You know, if you feel like one section is a little bit too overwhelming for you, because it can feel that way, you know, especially, you know, the new growth coming in, you know, I lost my train of thought. I was gonna say, make sure that you are taking small sections, you're applying that conditioner, you're gently separating the hair as carefully as you can so you can remove that shed hair. I think it's very important for you to kind of take that approach first. And if you do come across a knot that, you know, you cannot remove and you do have to use a tool, then you can go ahead and use a wide tooth comb. I prefer using a wide tooth comb, because I feel like that's more gentle on my hair, especially with my texture. Some of those brushes I definitely cannot use. couldn't use when I was transitioning, and I certainly can use them now. But try finger detangling, try not to rush through that process, work in small sections, make sure your hair is saturated with water and product so you can remove that shed hair. But taking this approach is gonna help you with length retention, and that's what we want. And also it's gonna help prevent breakage. So do not rush, just take your time, play some music, and know you'll be able to get through this. All right. A do for me, and this is very important, is do the big chop, snip, snip. Do the big chop when you feel comfortable and ready. I think that's very important, you know, that you are doing things at your own pace. I know sometimes we can get caught up in other people's journey and we're like, oh, this person transitioned for a year and a half, so I should do that, or this person did it for 3, you know what I mean? I think, you know, personally for me, when I started my journey, I knew that it was going to be longer than a year before I did the big chop, but I never really knew. To be honest with you, when I first started my journey, I said, I'm not doing no big chop. I'm gonna wait till my hair gets to a certain length, and then when I feel comfortable, I'll cut the dead ends. You know, that's the mindset that I went in. But after a year of being consistent and being committed and seeing my curls flourishing, I was just so excited about that next step in my natural hair journey. But more importantly, I felt comfortable with cutting the remaining ends. So make sure that you are doing things at your own pace. You definitely don't want to rush it. You know, cutting your hair prematurely that's not a good thing, especially if you're not mentally ready for it. But I will say, you know, stay consistent, you know that you will have to, you know, cut the remaining ends, and you should be, you know, trimming those dead ends slowly as the months go by. But to do just the final chop, make sure that you are doing it when you feel comfortable and ready. As always, do things at your own pace. You know, this is your journey, you know, nobody else should dictate it but you. So do things at your own pace, cut when you're ready. All right, so that leaves me to my next tip, which is a don't, and that is do not neglect trimming your hair. You want to make sure that you are trimming those ends as frequently as you can, consistently. You know, you could do it at your pace, of course. You know, it doesn't have to be one chop right there, but every few months you should be, you know, trimming off those dead ends. Just keep in mind, you know, depending on how long your hair is, trust me, there is no way to save that hair. There's no way to revive it. I get a lot of questions about, you know, maybe if I do protein treatments, you know, every week. As like, no, you have to cut it, make peace with it, trim it off every few months, you know, especially as your new growth is coming in, because unfortunately there's just no saving that part. But make sure that you are staying consistent with it. You know, make sure that you are trimming. You don't really want to neglect that. I know for me, when I used to wear my hair straight, I barely ever used to trim my hair. For my stylist to trim my hair, it was a lot, because I was always against it. But it was because, you know, I was just so attached to my length. I didn't want short hair, you know, I had issues. But make sure that you are trimming your ends. You do want to make sure that you're doing that consistently, and you're doing that every few months. And you know, you'll start seeing that as you're trimming the dead ends, you know, the new growth is coming in, your hair is flourishing. So yes, make sure that you are trimming on the regular. All right, tip number 7. I think I'm on number 7. And this is a do for me. Do protective styles often, especially transitioning. I'm gonna tell you right now, sis, it's gonna be challenging AF when it comes to styling your hair. You know, I know for me, I got fed up real quick. And, you know, I tried doing flexi rods. That didn't look great on me because my hair was so damaged. You could see right through my hair. It was not looking cute. So, you know, when it came to protective styles, honestly, my style of choice was doing buns. I would do low buns and then high buns, put some big old hoops, some red lipstick on the weekend. And that's really how I was able to just navigate with my hair while I was transitioning. So choose a protective style that doesn't require a lot of manipulating, and just kind of stick with it. You know, for me, and I'll be honest, it was super boring, you know, having a bun all the time. That was the only hairstyle that I did for 2017. I did experiment with flexi rods, like I said, but it didn't really work for me. But I felt comfortable doing my buns, my cute little low bun, my high buns, like my edges. And I felt good about, you know, how I looked. But that style helped me out so much, and I would just stay consistent with washing, making sure that I was moisturizing, and just caring for it. So do experiment with some protective styles just to help you navigate while you are transitioning, because you know, you're dealing with two textures, you know, the styles that you may want to try out, you know, your hair is not ready for that, or it's not going to look the way you would want it to look. And, you know, it's just part of the journey, you know, when you are transitioning. But, you know, experiment with protective styles, stick with them, because they're really going to help you as you navigate along with transitioning to natural. So yes, protective styles are a go. All right, so next tip, and this is a don't for me, do not over manipulate your hair while you're transitioning. You kind of want to just, you know, stick to a couple of styles, but, you know, changing your hair ever so often like you used to do when you was wearing your hair straight is not going to work. When you have to keep in mind, you know, you're dealing with two textures. Over manipulating your hair, it's just not a good thing. Remember, you're trying to retain that growth. You want to make sure that that new growth that is coming in healthy, it's flourishing. And I feel like when you have your hands too much into your hair, and you're doing this and you're adding this and you're taking this and you're putting this, you know, you're going to deal with breakage. And because your hair is so fragile, it just means that your hair is just going to break off that much easier. Ugh. So do not over manipulate. Stick to a style that you feel comfortable with, and know that your time to try out hairstyles will come once you are fully natural. All right, next tip, and this is a do for me. This is a very important tip. You want to make sure that you are checking in with your hair and you are moisturizing your hair frequently and or as when needed. That is very, very important. So aside from creating a hair regimen, you want to create a schedule where you are checking in with your hair daily. You want to make sure you're checking in, you're taking your hair down, you're looking at it, you're feeling it, you're seeing, do you feel moisture? Does your ends feel dry? You know, that is all very, very important. So I know for me, when I was transitioning, I would always moisturize my hair at nighttime before I went to bed, because my hair used to be so dry during my transitioning phase. You know, I don't know if because I was dealing with the two texture, but my hair would get dry pretty quickly. So I would make sure before I went to bed, I would section my hair into 4 parts. I would moisturize each section. I would seal all that moisture with an oil. During that time, I was using like olive oil, and I was doing like my own little oil concoction, but I would moisturize it, seal it with an oil, put my little bonnet, and then the next day I would take my hair down, and my hair looked moisturized. It looked moisturized and it felt soft, and then I would just go ahead and put it in a low bun to go to work. But that is very, very important. One thing that you have to understand, that our hair loves moisture and it needs moisture to thrive. So it's very important that you are staying consistent and you are checking in with your hair and you're adding that moisture that it needs, because that moisture is what's going to help that new growth continue to come in, continue to grow, continue to stay strong, continue to flourish, and you're going to deal with less breakage when your hair is moisturized. So make sure that you are staying consistent. All right, a don't for me is staying away from coloring your hair. No. That, again, you know, adding chemicals to your hair when you're transitioning is a definite no. Keep in mind, your hair is very fragile, sis. You cannot be doing that right now. Now is not the time. When you're transitioning, you just want to focus on getting your hair healthy. It's great to experiment with colors, but your time will come for that. And that's usually after you have transitioned. I personally feel trying to add color when you're transitioning, you're gonna deal with breakage, you're gonna deal with setbacks. So if you're wanting to prevent all of that, make sure that you are staying consistent with your routine and you're staying away from not only heat, but chemicals as well. So coloring your hair, not an option when you're transitioning. I know that they have like temporary color. There's like hair paint if you really want to try that, which I love doing that. That's an option. And of course, once you're fully transitioned and you have an understanding of your hair and what it needs and so on, if you want to go ahead and color your hair, of course you can go ahead and do that, but definitely not while you're transitioning. So stay away from that. All right, this is a bonus tip. Okay, this is a definite must, and it's what I did in my journey. It's what I have been doing, is take tons of pictures. Take tons of pictures, document your journey. I remember when I was transitioning, on every wash day, I was taking pictures because it really does help you stay committed. It really does. I know it did for me. Even though I was looking like a hot mess on month 6, I was like, wow, when I first started, this is what my hair was looking like, and here I am 6 months later, still looking crazy, but I see the vision. I see the curls coming in, and it really does help. I did a lot of journaling because it really helped me stay grounded. It helped me stay consistent. So I encourage you to do the same thing because it's so important for you to just continue on with your journey. I personally feel that documenting and taking pictures and journaling really helped me stay grounded in my journey. And that's really how I made it through, because I was just so excited. I would take the pictures and I would start comparing them, and then it would just lead me to think, wow, I wonder what my hair is gonna look like a year from now, 2 years from now, 3, and so on and so on. So make sure you are taking pictures, make sure you're documenting it, and you're gonna be able to see your hard work pay off, and it's only gonna just kind of keep you there, keep you motivated, keep you encouraged until you see your journey through. So document, take tons of pictures every time you can. All right, guys, that is the end of this video. I really hope that this video was very informative. I know transitioning is challenging, but if you follow me on Instagram, you saw where I started, you see where I am now, so understand that you can do it too. It just takes a lot of commitment and a lot of discipline, but I know that you all have it in you. If you have any additional questions or concerns about transitioning, let's talk. Make sure that you comment down below so I can go ahead and interact with you guys. But yes, that is the end of this video. As always, thank you so much for all the love and support. Hope you guys stay well. Hope you guys are taking good care of yourself. Make sure that you comment, like, share this video, and of course, I will see you on my next video. Bye-bye.